Hey everyone, Meinke from MLive&apos. Joined as always by Justin Rogers. It's finally here, Justin, the start of the 2015 season and the Lions' first opportunity really to put last year behind them, to move forward. They think, we talked to Caldwell on Sunday. He thinks this is a playoff team. We'll get to see our first glimpses of it today. Not every player is going to be in the practice field, though. 3 significant injuries at this point, with players starting on the PUP. Defensive end Jason Jones, right tackle LaAdrian, Waddle, tailback Joique Bell, all projected starters. Which injury are you most concerned about at this point?
Man, I hope Caldwell thinks this is a playoff team. I think that's part of his job. But each of those injuries are critical. They're starters at key positions. But I guess I'm most concerned about Joique Bell. Came off an injury last year and really struggled to get going for the first half. Closed the season very strong. I think we saw that 4.4 yards per carry.
And with that offensive line, that's significant. That's what I'm saying.
For sure. And you don't want to see that slow start again. So you want to see him out there. You want to see him active. He's coming back from 2 minor injuries, 2 minor surgeries on his knee and on his Achilles. So he's going to need to get some preseason action. Ameer Abdullah's a rookie. There's obviously a skill set there that is desired. He was a second-round pick for a reason. But you don't want to lean on him as a workhorse running back at this stage. And I'm still not a guy that believes Theo Riddick is much of a ball carrier. I think he's a very good receiving option. Well above average at that particular skill. But as a ball carrier, I think he is below average. He doesn't have great speed. He doesn't have great quickness.
He doesn't break tackles.
He doesn't break tackles.
We haven't seen anyone yet.
Yeah, and getting the edge in the NFL is just not something you can rely on. So they need Bell to still kind of be the workhorse to lead this group. And if this injury lingers long, that should be a major concern.
I definitely agree that Bell is a workhorse, and the Lions need him to be just that, given the rookie behind him and Theo Riddick not establishing himself to this point as a rusher. I'm not that concerned at this point about that injury. I've talked to Joique, and we've all talked to Joique throughout the offseason. He hasn't been too concerned that it's going to impact the season. This guy at this point is a veteran. He's been in the system even. He looked good last year. He knows what he's doing. At this point, he can miss some time, and I'm not going to be concerned about him. I don't think the injuries are going to linger into the regular season. But if it does at that point, then of course it's a concern because Abdullah, we both like what we saw from him in mini camp, but you can't really count a rookie to be the guy. So Joique is important. At this point, I don't think he's the most significant injury. I'm more concerned at right tackle. The Lions had all kinds of problems on the offensive line last year. We don't have to rehash all that, but the injuries and the age were all concerns. And now Waddle, I don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the season. He hopes to be, but I don't think it's going to happen. It'd be like right around that 9-month mark with week 1, and I just think he's going to need more time than that. So Cornelius Lucas will be the guy. Lucas had kind of an up and down season last year. Did show some flashes. He's got the size, but I'm not sure if he is a long-term solution. And at this point with Waddle, he's had all kinds of injury issues in his 2 years as a starter, elbow issues and knee issues and concussion issues. Can he stay healthy long-term? I don't know. I think he's the best right tackle on this team, on this roster. But at this point, I think there are durability concerns. And speaking long-term, over the course of the season, can he stay healthy? When will he be available? Those are significant questions for a team that really needs improvement from the offensive line.
It's 2 years now. The right tackle spot's been a revolving door. Last year, it wasn't just revolving door with personnel. It was a revolving door in terms of pass rush pressure. More sacks came from that spot than anywhere. I thought Cornelius Lucas looked better on the left side where he naturally plays. I know he spent time with his trainer specifically working on right tackle stances. I'm very curious to see how he's developed. Waddle regressed last year. Even when he was on the field, I didn't think he was as good as he looked as a rookie. I expected a step forward. I thought it was maybe plateau or step backwards, small step backwards. He needs this practice time. I think this is a important camp for him, and the fact that he's going to miss time is not good. That situation's not great. The rest of the offensive line looks really solid.
Yeah.
But I think we're talking about the same thing here. The run game is incredibly important. Balance isn't some kind of lip service that teams give. It's what make an offense really click and go. It will help Matthew Stafford. It'll help the passing game if they can reliably run the ball. And the right tackle and Joique Bell, both those are really key components. Teams like to run to that right side of the line. That's usually where you get your road graders, your pushers. You got Larry Warford over there, who obviously has no problem moving, defensive linemen. So I think our concerns are symbiotic.
Yeah, for sure. This is a team that was elite defensively last year. It was historically elite defending the run, returns 9 guys on that side of the ball, including Terrell Austin, the coordinator. That unit, despite losing Ndamukong Suh, I think should still be pretty good.
Agreed.
But the offense was the big issue last year. The running game was the biggest weakness with the offense last year, both because of the offensive line's performance and the health and performance of the running backs. And I think reversing that trend is the biggest key to this team's progress and turnaround this year, short of Matthew Stafford, because the quarterback is always the biggest key on a team, on a playoff team. You go as far as your quarterbacks. Short of that, it's going to be the running game. You need Joique Bell. You need an offensive line. It's a symbiotic relationship, as you say, and we don't have to talk extensively about how important running the football is, but it is for this team, something they couldn't do last year and was eventually, I think, their downfall. The last guy we haven't talked about yet, Jason Jones. I asked Caldwell, what he had seen from the other defensive ends in minicamp with Jason Jones missing time. Mentioned Larry Warford. Thank you, Larry Webster. I'm not sure if he stood out to you or not, but to me, like he looks better, but he didn't really do much for me. I didn't really notice him as a standout, and if that's really the guy they're going to be counting on to start across from Ezekiel Ansah, if Jones misses considerable time, I'm not sure that's you like the shape that unit's in, particularly given you've already changed out Suh and Fairley, two of the other starters in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, we know what the Lions have in Ezekiel Ansah. He is a budding superstar with great skill set and is, a given on that line. Other than that, the defensive ends are kind of a hodgepodge of uncertainty. Mm-hmm. Devin Taylor and Larry Webster both look physically better. That is a start. That's where you go from there. It's hard to evaluate them without pads. Neither one did pop out in the same way that I thought Karan Reed was a guy that we talked about extensively over OTAs and minicamp, stood out to us both physically and on the field. But they need somebody to step up there and to help shut down the run. Jason Jones obviously does a very good job there, but to pressure the passer. That was where George Johnson came in last year and gave them 6 sacks. Nobody else outside of Ansah is a given in terms of pressuring the quarterback. So they really need somebody, particularly that Taylor-Webster combo, one of those two, if not both, to step up and be more productive as a pass rusher this year.
Yeah, I think we're all expecting some kind of regression from the defensive line, given that you have lost Suh, as great as he is, and then, of course, Nick Fairley as well. The Lions do return every notable linebacker, every notable defensive back, so I think the unit should still be fine as a whole. But, yeah, losing Jones, a third starter up front, it's just another blow for a unit that's already undergone quite a bit of turnover this offseason.
Yeah.
For Dustin Rogers, I'm Kyle Meinke. We are MLive. We're going to be at minicamp all this week, so keep it right here for all your updates.